Welcome back to the channel. Firstly, I'd like to thank everyone and our newcomers for the support, and a massive shout out to a fellow YouTuber, Dynamic Duo, for helping us grow. Thank you. Today we are going on a journey to Lanercroft Priory. Hope you enjoy. Lanercroft Priory, a remarkable relic of medieval England, stands proudly in the northern countryside. Established in 1169, this venerable site once sheltered a devout community of Augustinian canons. Over time, it also became the residence of a distinguished branch of the Dacre family, whose presence added to the rich tapestry of its storied past. In the years following the Norman conquest, Robert de Vaux, a prominent figure whose family had been rewarded with the barony of Gilsland on the turbulent border with Scotland, sought to solidify his presence in this newly claimed land. The region, which had only recently fallen under English control in 1157, was a frontier of sorts, and the founding of a priory here was both a testament to Robert's enduring power and a reflection of his devout faith. In an act of great piety and generosity, Robert endowed the priory with extensive lands and nearby churches, granting the canons the autonomy to choose their own prior. The first structures to rise were the south transept, the southern wall of the church, and the monastic buildings encircling the cloister. A cross, inscribed and erected in 1214 to commemorate this phase of construction, still stands today, with its base in the outer precinct and the upper shaft preserved within the church. However, after this initial flurry of activity, construction paused for several decades. It wasn't until around 1260 that work resumed with the addition of the presbytery and north transept. Unlike the taller arches and single window level of the south transept, the north transept was built with more robust, shorter pillars designed to support two levels of windows, the triforium and the clerestory, and a stone-vaulted roof, giving it a distinct and enduring character. At its height, the Priory of Lanercroft was home to no more than 12 to 15 canons, men who dedicated themselves to a life of prayer and service, following the rule of St. Augustine. Clad in their distinctive black habits, these canons divided their days between the solemn rituals of monastic life and the pastoral care of the local community and nearby churches. Each day, they gathered in the church to pray 7 times, offering their devotions on behalf of their founder, Robert de Vaux, his family, and their descendants. The priory was dedicated to St. Mary Magdalene, whose statue graces the west front of the church. Over time, the priory became a place of pilgrimage, particularly after acquiring a revered relic, a piece of St. Mary Magdalene's belt or girdle. The remnants of Lanercroft Priory that we see today represent only a fraction of what was once a thriving monastic complex. The priory would have included a brewhouse, tannery, malt kiln, hay store, fish ponds, and a granary, alongside stables and other buildings for livestock, such as sheep, cattle, and pigs. The entire precinct was encircled by a protective wall, parts of which still stand, with a single gatehouse that housed the porter's lodge. The canons were supported by a considerable number of staff who played vital roles in the daily operations of the priory. These included bailiffs managing the estates, a butler, a caterer, a cook, a fisherman, a mason, and 2 clerks of the choir employed to assist with the singing of services. By 1537, the priory had a workforce of 40 people, all contributing to the life and function of this sacred place. The reign of King Edward I, 1272 to 1307, was marked by his relentless ambition to assert control over Scotland, a goal that escalated into open conflict when Scotland forged an alliance with France in 1296. The ensuing war left monasteries along the border vulnerable to attack, and Lanercroft Priory was among the first to suffer. In April 1296, Scottish forces encamped at the priory, setting fire to several monastic buildings. Here are 3 stones, each discovered at the Birdoswald Roman fort, and later collected by the Howard family after they acquired Lanercroft Priory in 1869. These stones are faithful reproductions. This relief portrays Hercules and Jupiter, 2 deities particularly revered by Roman soldiers. Jupiter, the god of the sky, thunder, and storms, was a powerful protector, while Hercules symbolized victory. In this depiction, Hercules holds his iconic club in his right hand. This altar is dedicated to Silvanus, the god of woodlands and uncultivated lands. Notably, it bears the only known inscription revealing the Roman name of Birdoswald Roman Fort, Banner. Though badly damaged, this altar is devoted to Jupiter, the best and greatest, by the cohort the first Alia Decorum Miliaria, or the first cohort of Dacians. This elite unit, consisting of 1,000 soldiers, was stationed at Birdoswald during the 3rd and 4th centuries. Altars to Cassidius. These 3 altars were dedicated to the god Cassidius. They are reproductions, with the original pieces now housed at the Tully House Museum. This altar was dedicated by soldiers of the 20th Legion. Discovered in 1808 within the foundations of a mile castle on Hadrian's Wall, near the Birdoswald Roman fort, it features a boar at its base, a symbol closely associated with this legion. Found in the same year and within the same mile castle's foundations, this altar was dedicated by soldiers of the 2nd Legion Augusta. This altar was brought from the Roman fort at Bewcastle in 1884 by George Howard. It was dedicated by Annius Victor, a legionary centurion, an officer responsible for commanding a unit of 80 soldiers. The following year, the infamous Scottish leader William Wallace led raids into northern England, and Lanercroft was once again a target of their fury. However, the worst was yet to come. In 1311, Robert Bruce, now King of Scotland, 1306 to 1329, launched a devastating assault on Lanercroft Priory. His forces occupied the site for 3 days, inflicting what was described as an infinity of injury upon the priory and imprisoning the canons. These repeated incursions wreaked havoc on the priory's lands, reducing them from a once prosperous estate valued at nearly £75 annually to a state of utter devastation by 1318. The priory faced yet another brutal siege in October 1346, this time at the hands of King David II of Scotland, 1329 to 1371, and his army. A contemporary chronicler vividly recounted how the Scots arrogantly entered the sanctuary, threw out the vessels of the temple, plundered the treasury, shattered the bones, stole the jewels, and destroyed as much as they could. These relentless raids left Lanercroft Priory in ruins, with buildings to repair, treasures to replace, and lands left desolate and barren. In the turbulent 1640s, during the Civil War, the Royalist Dacre family faced significant financial hardship. The last of the family line, James Dacre, passed away in 1716, leaving behind considerable debts. As a result, their property reverted to the Crown. Meanwhile, the main estates of the Dacre family had passed to the Howard family through marriage. Charles Howard, the 3rd Earl of Carlisle, took on the task of restoring the church, a project that was completed by 1747. However, Due to the cost-cutting measures of the time, the restoration was not durable, and within a century, the church had once again fallen into disrepair. After the roof collapsed, renowned architect Anthony Salvin, who was already engaged in work at Naworth Castle, was commissioned to lead the restoration. This work, financed by the Crown, culminated in the church's reopening in 1849. In 1869, George Howard, the 9th Earl of Carlisle, purchased the Priory buildings from the Crown and embarked on further restoration efforts. He installed the barrel-vaulted ceiling and a new organ in the church. A talented painter himself, George enlisted the help of his artistic friends to enhance the restoration. Among them, Edward Burne-Jones crafted a bronze relief of the Nativity, while William Morris designed the dossal, an embroidered cloth to adorn the area behind the altar. The two artists also collaborated on the creation of stunning stained glass windows. As the 20th century dawned, the financial burden of maintaining the Priory ruins grew too heavy for the Howard family. In 1930, they entrusted the site to the Office of Works, a precursor to English Heritage. An extensive conservation and excavation campaign followed, during which the remnants of the original chapter house were uncovered. By 1952, the family had donated Dacre Hall to the local community, while the Priory Church of St Mary Magdalene continues to serve as the parish church to this day. We hope you enjoyed this video, and again, a massive thank you to you all. Our social links are in the description if you would like to check them out. See you on the next journey.